Bipartisan support was on display as some bills received approval from both Republicans and Democrats in the House. One bill would make synthetic marijuana illegal.
This bill will undoubtedly make our communities a safer place.
And I know, Representative Kriesel, that you and I have both talked about the fact that perhaps synthetic marijuana is a dangerous misnomer here.
The other would increase penalties for harming public safety dogs. Again this session, you can read all about the happenings of the House. The free nonpartisan magazine, Session Weekly, keeps you up to date, providing in-depth coverage of the House committees and floor action. Here's a glimpse of what you can expect from the professional staff of writers, editors, and photographers in this week's edition of Session Weekly. The fourth-tier income tax rate isn't the only tax change in Governor Mark Dayton's budget proposal. Session Weekly looks at some of the other taxes that may be flying under the radar. Plus, from the fields to your table, Session Weekly looks at a new classroom program designed to increase knowledge of where our food comes from. And the Dakota language is on the verge of becoming silent in Minnesota, with only 8 people in the entire state who can fluently speak the language. Now a partnership of cultural organizations hopes to revive this heritage. Session Weekly writer Sue Hagerty has the story in this week's edition.
This story, I believe, epitomizes cultural heritage. It's the story of how Minnesotans are revitalizing a near-lost language, the Dakota language. In 1862, during the Dakota Uprising and the conflict, some call it a war, the Dakota were driven from the state after several of them were hung. And so many of them left and went to Canada. And so the teacher that we focus on in this story came back from Canada to revitalize the language through the legacy funding. He's teaching young children through an immersion program how to speak their native language.
Session Weekly will be providing coverage throughout the legislative session, keeping you informed and up to date.